So I said, cool, Dad, I can't lie. I'm not enjoying myself. I'm just going to go back to what I know and I'm going to drop out. And he said, okay, if you want to drop out, you have to leave the house.
Whoa.
That night, I took all my stuff out the cupboard and I slept with it. So, because I wasn't going to pack. I was obviously emotional at the night as well. And then, I left the next morning. At the time, it was like, I couldn't tell you, it was like a very lonely, isolated season for me. Because, funny enough, I've actually never revealed this in public. But if we're talking about the world coming to one place at once, literally, it's Cannes Lions. And it's at the best of it, where all the brands, all talents come and unite.
Why is it you needed to get there and how did you go about it?
It's one of those things you see in movies, but when you do it, it's crazy. I understand that social media is the era of finished products. I understand that, but done are the days.
Yeah, I hear that.
Done are the days. Like, I didn't do things the way I was supposed to. The way society told me, I didn't do it. And that disability from just doing this, I promise you, just raising your hand and speaking, gave me the ability just to, ever since then, like I do gently advocating.
Today's guest is the definition of inspiration. Guerin Luther shows the art of the possible when you simply just believe in yourself. Guys, today's episode is simply about not giving up. The closed mouth doesn't get fed. Now enjoy the show. Hi guys, welcome to another episode of What My Best Friend Does, where we talk to best friends in the hope of inspiring you to take immediate action. Today we got a good one, people. I'm joined by my best friend, the brand partner and Gen Z advocate, Guerin, bro. How you doing?
Hi, bestie.
Come on, hi, bestie. Come on, bestie. It's funny. Come on.
Nah, I'm blessed. I'm good. Thank you for having me, number one. Bestie, I've been waiting for the call for a long time, but he's decided to actually call his best friend. So.
Here we go.
Yeah,
answer
the call, man. Answer the call. But how have you been? So.
I've been very good, bro.
Yeah.
Excited to have this conversation. We like to start with a little icebreaker.
Okay, nice.
What did you want to be growing up, bro?
Footballer.
Hey.
Yeah, straight up. So I wanted to be a footballer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you had to compare yourself to one footballer, who are you comparing yourself to? Because the way you said it, you believed it.
Yeah,
that you had that.
I'm gonna say, as I grew into it, I'd definitely say Pogba is a crazy shout.
Hey!
But I only say that because I feel like he had the ability to defend.
Yeah.
But he also had the groundwork of like spraying it, but also he was box to box. I always had an eye for goal, but that came in my latter years, if that makes sense. So I'd say I kind of started off with that Kante, ball winner. But then as I got on, I realised, no, hear me out, because I know these are big players, innit? But I'm saying that because at first I was just a ball winner. Like I used to just get the ball back and play it off. But as I got into it, I actually realised that I actually want a bit of the ball myself as well.
Yeah.
I saw that scouts they kind of had an eye for the players that had the technical ability, and I was always getting overlooked. And I said, okay, cool, let me add to my game. And that's where I really started to have confidence to be more offensive, and that's where it all came as around, if that makes sense.
That does make sense. You know what's so funny? Like, as you said Pogba and then you said Kante, I was just like, Pogba, Kante, how green?
Was one player not enough?
Not even one, bro, two.
Yeah, no, literally. Scouts used to always just go for the ball players, the guys that were neat on the ball. I was like, I'm doing my work here as well. And I said, okay, cool. Like, if that's what I need to improve on, let me get better on the ball.
I love that. So obviously you wanted to become a footballer, but as I've mentioned, like you've got into, brand partnerships. You do, you're a Gen Z advocate.
Right.
Like, bro, take us back. Like, what has your journey been like until this point? Because I know it's been a journey.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's crazy because my journey is not like your conventional. Obviously, I dropped out of university. I think even when I was in secondary school, I was the dream was to play football.
Yeah. And
I really, like, at the time I was playing for Palace and stuff. So as much as I was in my education, my eyes were actually on the pitch. But I definitely say that it wasn't until I stopped playing football that I realised I was actually lost. And I think, like I said, it's kind of in reverse, because I think as society, they kind of teach you to, find an industry that you want to be in. But I think I kind of started off finding skills I was good at.
Yeah. And
then I realised that the skills are very transferable, sorry. And then through that, I realised that, because I think I used to go to every type of networking event. If it was investments, I'd go. Property, I would go. Creative, I'd go, because I didn't know. I didn't have a clue. And I was just trying to find what was for me, what ticks for me. But even through finding identities in my skills and stuff, whether it was speaking, whether it was having an eye for camera or behind the camera or I realised that these skills are all transferable. So I think that's why it's so hard when people ask me, Graham, what did you do today to give them one title? Because I didn't know at first. And through finding skills, I realised, no, wait, my ability to speak can also allow me to be a teacher. but can also allow me to pitch to a client. Or I can also have the ability to become the middleman and do partnerships. So it's like through that one skill speaking, it can transfer into different industries. So I think I started lost. I was lost at first. Like I said, come out of education, dropped out of university. I was studying sociology, psychology, which I enjoyed at A-levels. And then I was in uni for like 3-4 months. I woke up with no desire, bro. Like I was lost. And I'm not the type, I'm a very passionate guy. And I didn't feel myself. I didn't feel like I was waking up with drive. I thought I was just waking up living. As much as my parents were happy that I was going to university, I wasn't. And I told my dad, obviously, it's only like 5 minutes in, but I feel like I'm going into it.
Yeah, but it's not going into it. Come on, bro.
But I told my dad, listen, I can't lie. What I feel like with football, I thought football was not a finished story. I want to go back to it. But also I said I at the same time, I didn't know where else to go. Like, if I knew I was good at engineering, I would have left to go engineering, but I didn't know that. What I knew was football, and what I knew study at A-levels. So I said, cool, Dad, I can't lie. I'm not enjoying myself. I'm just going to go back to what I know, and I'm going to drop out. And he said, okay, if you want to drop out, you have to leave the house.
Whoa.
And then, the next day, I think he actually came into my room because that night, I took all my stuff out the cupboard and I slept with it. So, because I wasn't going to pack, I was obviously emotional at the night as well. And then, I left the next morning.
Wow.
And ever since then, that's when the journey really started.
Oh my.
That's like 2 minutes. I'm so sorry. Literally. I'm so sorry.
Well, look, you've given me 2 minutes, but we're gonna dive into a few things.
Yeah.
First and foremost, like you mentioned the fact that, you kick ball. Obviously, you do that. I think a lot of people growing up, they see football as like their identity.
Yeah.
And
Agreed.
You mentioned the fact that you were lost. When you realised maybe that football wasn't going to be for you, like, how did that affect you, like, mentally?
I think mentally it was almost like, I don't know, I think there's also a bit of pride and ego that us footballers have when we're young. We're like, we can't leave until what we've given the game owes us back, if that doesn't make sense. It's almost like, no, I've given too much of the game, I can't just leave like this. And I think that's what a lot of young footballers have, and I think that's the attachment, or I'm not going to call the word bondage, but it's like, I'm not leaving here until I walk away with something. But I think even in that midst of leaving the game, and obviously what I did to my mental was like, okay, cool, I don't know what I'm doing, I feel lost. Like I said, a lot of my friends, I didn't go to uni, I dropped out of uni, but that means my friends were at uni. That means that they were moving, and I felt like I was behind. At the time, it was like, I couldn't tell you, it was like a very like lonely, isolated season for me. Because, like I said, I always say this, like, you feel like people are moving and you haven't taken a move. But then, in the midst of it, now that I look back, it was like, I think that's when I stopped competing with society. So I think it was actually a blessing in disguise. Does that make sense? Because I stopped racing with everybody else and started looking the man in the mirror, okay, what are we doing? Yeah. I think I needed to start again. I think I needed to stop looking around, he's doing this, he's in the office, or he's already graduated. And actually focus on, what do you want? And when we decide that and when we go there, let's start again. And then we start the race. And I think that's allowed me to actually be more intentional. So yes, very isolated, very dark time. But it's kind of funny because I felt like even I was the only one that believed I was going to be a footballer. As much as my mum and dad, they were very supportive of me playing football because they saw me at Palace, they saw me at Scunthorpe, saw me at clubs. But everyone else at the schools and my teachers, it's like I was fulfilling their prophecy. Just focus on education. So I can't say that it was anything to my mental, because I don't think, it's kind of hard to say it, but not many people believed in me anyways. Do you know what I mean? It's like, they didn't think I was going to be the footballer. Do you know what I mean? I was always overlooked as a young footballer, I'll be honest. Like, I was genuinely only, on my clubs, I always say this, like, it's mad, like, I was never rated, but I always had a heart for it. Yeah. But I love to see how my heart and my passion for things is transfigured into what I do today.
I love that. And like on that, like you mentioned the fact that you did obviously go to uni for a few months.
Yeah.
So like, did you keep your studies up whilst you were playing football? Because there's a lot of people who like 100% give themselves to football and then maybe the studies fall by the wayside. Were you like doing both?
I can definitely say I realised that from early on, I think even as footballers, when you're young, because you have to sacrifice so much, I could have never been someone that was very social, but also intense with my work and intense with football. So the social life had to go. Okay. So that was a lot of like, deleting the Snapchats or the black BBMs at the time. Because I was like, I had to lock in. And obviously one of my biggest inspirations is Ronaldo. And he's like, work, lock in. So I think even with that, I realized that for me to have the ability to do well, I had to do well in education. So for me to focus, I couldn't have pick or both as well, because my coach, but also my parents as well, were very much, okay, do education, play your ball, do the same. So it was kind of like, okay, cool, I had to discipline myself to put myself and lock myself away from everything or any distractions that would distract anyone that's young, and kind of just lock in. So
You've been locked in from early.
I feel like young footballers have to be, though.
Yeah.
I feel like it wasn't something where, because I think about it, me and a few guys were playing football, and we always looked in, we had to be. It was just training. You want to be the best, train. You want to get a scholarship, train. But then others had the opportunity to, I think, drinking, smoking, people exposed to it from young. I couldn't afford to do that because I want to be pro. If I didn't have football, then maybe, we don't know. So yeah, had to be locked in from young, yeah.
And also, and I'm sure we'll get onto it when we talk about your career, right? Having that mindset, like, if I want to achieve X,
yeah,
I have to do Y.
Agreed.
I'm sure you've been able to like transfer that with everything you're doing now.
Agreed.
But you mentioned that, like, yeah, you leave home and that is the start of your new journey.
Yeah.
Bro, let us hear it, bro. Talk us through the new journey.
Yeah. I think leaving home, I say this, I think, because I think even now when I'm looking for like team members or people to help me grow a business and stuff, I'm not so much looking at your ability. I'm more looking at your character. Because I always say this, knowledge, I can teach you knowledge. You go into a new job, you have probation for a reason. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? I don't think, I think knowledge is a given. Like, when you start to pick up and you take time, it will come. But it's the character that you possess that I think is so important and so detailed. So when my dad said, obviously, please, with context, my dad is my best friend.
There
After,
you go.
my dad is my best friend. Like, I think even from this experience, I think my dad's even drew closer because I always say my dad didn't kick me out because he wanted to, but I feel like he also, in a way, because he wanted me to give he wanted to give me an ultimatum that would keep me in university because he really wanted me to stay there. But I think even in my reaction, he said, I can't throw this guy off. Like, this guy is too locked in. Like, he knows if I'm doing my own thing, do you know what? I'd leave it to him. Yeah. Because I can't swindle this guy if he says he's going to do something. So I think he's obviously brought us closer. In the moment, of course, you'd have your emotions towards your father, of course.
Yeah.
But obviously, like I said, going back to it, when I left, it was almost like, and coming from work and making it as far as I can, I don't need external validation. It's very scary. If I say I'm going to do something, brother, especially if the ones that were closest to me didn't believe I'll make it this far, then why do I need your opinion? Like, it's very scary. That's why I always say I pick up character, because if you're someone that genuinely believes in yourself, that regardless of what anybody says, whether you don't get comments, like, you know, someone that is consistently posting, they don't get reshares, they don't get likes, they don't get any external validation, but they're going as if it's like, just fear that person. But fear that person, because it's like, you don't need my help.
Yeah.
And I feel like when letting go and disconnecting from the things I needed the most and just kind of going through life, and obviously there was a lot of couch hopping at the time and all of that. Obviously I went back to, I think eventually I went back to my mum's. It was like, okay, cool. It's only me now. Like, I have no other choice. I'm going to do this thing. Like I said, I was locked away, cut off all the noise.
How'd you go about finding like your first proper job?
It was through a lot of networking. I think networking also for me was something I didn't actually... I think sometimes people say that they're shy to network and stuff. I agree and I understand it. Obviously, there's a lot of people introvert, but I feel like it also comes at circumstance of your life. Do you understand? Some people say that they're shy, but it's only because they're okay with where they are. Until you actually have to get up and go, then I know where sometimes I can tell where you are with life. Like, you're actually okay. But I had no choice but to get up and go. Yeah. Like I said, the property, the investments, I just wanted to see myself. I wanted to convince myself I was doing something. And so I was getting myself out there. The job search was long. Oh my gosh. Especially I don't have a degree. I'm just looking for experience. And funny enough, I've actually never revealed this in public, but my first role was an internship at Sky.
Okay.
But I got rejected, which is very funny. And I think I need to look at the camera when I say
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, cool. So my first internship was at Sky. I got rejected, but I was so tired of applying that I showed up regardless.
Wait!
They gave us the details at what time they wanted us there. I promise you not. I've never revealed this to the public. They gave us the details initially of when it starts. I promise you, I went there, and obviously I had to get past security and stuff as I do. Said, yeah, I'm here for the internship. So they let me through. There was meant to be 20 people at the internship. Only one showed up. I said, what? I said, yeah, come, you're with us. But but I can show you now, I got rejected.
Yeah.
But I said, I was so tired of getting rejected. I just showed up. I just showed up I'm telling you, my friend can vouch for me. Ask Deborah. So ask Deborah, I'm telling you. I said, I'm going to Sky tomorrow. She's meant to come with me. I think I said, I'm going. I'm tired. Yeah. Because some of these things, I said, the violence must take it by force. I am tired, bro.
Yeah.
It's too much. And sometimes it's like, they're rejecting you on the other side of the screen. They don't know you.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to show your face and show that it's you. I was so tired of these rejections.
Yeah.
I wasn't, like I said, I don't have the privileges of a degree, obviously, at my own. Yeah, I'm not saying it's like a disadvantage, but I said, no, like, Guerin, the way you're out there, just go and see what happens. To find out there was only 20 spaces, only one person there. They let me in. We had the best 3 weeks.
Wow. Led
into everything else. My hand, you don't know, my hand was up. And I even have it on my
LinkedIn.
Instagram. Yeah, Instagram, yeah. It's crazy.
Wow.
I didn't get accepted to my first job.
Wow.
I just turned up. I said, bro.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, I lit it first. This one here, obviously, because it's been a few years now, it's okay.
Yeah.
But you can't just say that.
So obviously, you do the internship.
Yeah.
Like you said, you spend 3 weeks there. And then with that, you get experience and you're able to apply and then secure like a more full-time role.
Yeah. So my first full-time role was I was an account executive at TMS. We worked on campaigns for like Adidas and McDonald's. Sick. So those were our main clients, yeah. And obviously the experience that we got from there just kind of helped in other things. I was at like Creative Academy as well at TikTok, which was good. And so I thought
What's the Creative Academy at TikTok? That sounds techie.
Yeah, so it was basically where they give you like expertise and obviously how to grow their platforms, the clients that they've worked with, but also at the end of it, you kind of build your own campaign. And we had like a whole panel. Like, it was good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I feel like with all of this experience that you've picked up, with Sky, with TikTok, with TMS, it leads to this moment with your friend Ali.
Yes.
Where you set yourselves a task of getting to Cannes Lions. So I'm sure there are going to be some people who are familiar with this journey, but there's going to be a whole new audience who are going to have no idea what happened. So yeah, can you talk about where did the idea come from? How did you go about executing it? Like, how is it people went about engaging with the content? Yeah, like, tell us everything, bro.
It's funny, man. It's such a story, isn't it? Yeah, so I had actually come back and got discharged recently. Me and Ali, there was a client that I was speaking to about building their whole social media, well, just their campaigns in general. And I think Ali was the person for me. And I just come out of hospital, actually. I got discharged.
Oh, damn. I'm sorry.
No, but the grace worked well. Yeah. And then, so I just come and I've gone to meet Ali. But prior to that, I wanted to go Cannes Lions. So there's like a black network, basically. And his name is Cephas Williams, does great work. Like, shout out to them. He's really bringing a lot of diverse, underrepresented talent to Cannes, obviously fully funded by his own. Like, he's covering flights accommodation. And I'd seen Cannes Lions the year prior, seeing that a lot of your your US greats come in, like Gary Vee, your Serena Williams. Everyone just comes to Cannes Lions for this summer.
And what is it that makes Cannes?
I think it's all the brands that you want to get into and advertising all come, whether it's Spotify, whether it's TikTok, whether it's Instagram. Like, the best of the best are there. I had the opportunity of meeting Timberland. Yeah. At Cannes Lions. Like, I'm saying that if we're talking about the world coming to one place at once, literally it's Cannes Lions, and it's at the best of it, where all the brands, all talents come and unite. And it's
vibes, and it's not like there's security. You can't rub shoulders with people.
Always vibes.
You just got access.
I'll be honest, like, even when I met Timberland, we just having a conversation, having a full-on conversation. Obviously, even have the best here in the UK that come. Whether obviously your UK creators, you got the Dammies. These are names that come into my head, and so forgive me. Yeah. But there's a lot of talent, obviously, that the best that come out of the UK come here as well.
Yeah. And all right, so that's what Cannes is. Yeah. So yeah, like,
the story.
What was your like why is it you needed to get there, and how did you go about doing it?
So cool. So like I said, obviously I'd seen it the year prior, and then I've applied, but I got a no. So they basically said we're not gonna. So I applied for the Black Network. Basically, I take people there to Cannes, and I got rejected. Cool, no problem.
But this one you couldn't just turn up.
No. You know, really, sometimes I just show up. So I was chatting to Ali now. I'm going to see Ali now, guy, and I just told him about it, and he just said, "Oh, so check the prices then." See, he has. I mean, like he's financially he's good. So I've spoken to Ali now, and he's just like, "So why don't we just do like a whole?" But obviously, he has like specific creators that he follows in general, and a lot of his creators, and I've obviously tapped in now. Like there are a lot of these guys that do they social push, like I'm gonna get this on 100K, I'm gonna do 30 days, and they actually build up this whole social journey and stuff. He said we should do that. I said, bro, calm down. Now this is my pride talking, because I don't like begging. I don't like asking, guys, help me. I've never, I mean, it's kind of out of my own reach. I just said, bro, just do it. So he put up the camera now. He had the setup there, and we did the first episode. I was really out of reach, and I just said, "Andy, you press post. I'm not doing it." But we did the thing. I promise you, the buzz was crazy. I said, "What?" Because sometimes you don't realize how much your community have you until you actually present them the opportunity.
Facts.
And then it became a thing. I said, "Wow, okay, cool, we're in." 3 episodes in now. We haven't heard anything, and obviously we're a month away. We're now like 2 weeks left to get there. Now we've seen the shift. Because where Ali's taking me out of my comfort zone, he's filled the gap that I was missing. Now it was time for me to fill the gap that he's missing. Is the resilience. But you can see that in my life though. So I think where he has that opportunity, like we can do this, it's more, okay, let's get to the end though. And I think that's where we work so well, we merge so well. I feel like he really was the missing puzzle. Because I wouldn't have seen this opportunity if he didn't just say it. And he was like, bro, I don't know if this is happening, man. I said, no, bro, we don't have time to give up. I'm not someone that gives up. I'm not going to do it. We went episode 4, episode 5. And I said, you know what, let me reach out. Kind of finally seen it. And they invited us out.
Wow.
They said, your ticket's covered. Everything's covered. And we've had different type of agencies reach out to us, but they just said it was too late because the deadline was so soon. So let's say Cannes was on Monday. We got told the Wednesday before we're going. So now we need to raise money to get there. Accommodation, everything. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But it was mad because I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's not things that you plan, but the community led us. It's one of those things you see in movies, but when you do it, it's crazy.
You didn't know the power until you were just in it.
I'm telling you, live, and I think it was even fasting season. Actually, it's crazy. Obviously, I'm a big believer in it, so we always present everything before the Lord. And so then we got invited out, and I promise you, the rate of emotions, I just said, yeah, that's it. And I think from Cannes, I realized that number one, London's not big enough for what's about to happen. Yeah. And number two, I've always known that closed mouths don't get fed. Yep. But be loud about, not loud about, be bold. If you want to stretch your arm, because I think after I came back from camp, I went straight to Paris Fashion Week. I did work with Adidas over there.
Oh, wow.
But that's because I said, you know what? Stop this whole politeness, waiting around. I don't have time to wait anymore. What am I waiting for? If I know what it takes and I have the boldness and the experience behind me, let me just go and make something happen. Do you know what I'm saying? I think that's what's been the shift for sure. I hope that answers all the questions.
It does, but I've got more questions off the back of it. So the first one is like, I watched. I think you end up doing like 6 parts, and then you like film when you're in Cannes. Yeah. Like you mentioned the fact that Ali had the setup. Right. Is this something that's recorded from your phone? Is it like a professional camera setup? And how long was it taking to edit the videos? Because if it takes hard work, it's fine. Yeah. But sometimes people need to understand that, it's not a quick thing. You need to put in the time and the work. So 100%. The actual process for creating each of these episodes, like, can you walk me through one and like how long it would take? So we then obviously agreed from the first episode that we'd be meeting each other every 2 to 3 days. I started seeing her every day. I hadn't seen Ali for like a year. I hadn't seen Ali for a year, and I was seeing him all the time. We'd be on the phone all the time. I'm thinking, my gosh, like, do you know what I mean? Speaking to him all day. But then we would have we would alternate. So he'd do episode 1, I'd do episode 2, editing. Okay. And let's say the edit would take for me personally, I'm a very large, when it comes to editing and really defining details, I can really take my time. So I said 45 to an hour or so in editing, but we record them on our phone. So it's more just about getting I think Ali talked to me this well, I like the depth, but he says be concise.
So where my video probably like 3 minutes, here won't be one.
Okay.
Because he's really getting the details in what people need to hear. And I think he showed me that as well. I think there was a lot of things exchanged. And I think there were details that he would take from me and I would take from him. So it would take a long process, but obviously we would approve it. Say, what do we add, what we not add? And there was even a series where we did our own individual part, episode 4, about what it was like on my side and what it was like on his side. So we can actually show our own creativity and let the community do what it needs to do. So, yeah, I think we'd have like, the recording would be like 30 minutes. We do
Script or no script?
No,
a bit of a script.
Outline.
Guidance.
Guidance,
yeah.
But we would just do like 4 different takes.
Yeah, and do you know why I'm saying this? Because, bro, like, I'm literally I have a LinkedIn post waiting to go.
Right.
And I was going to say, like, low-key, being able to speak naturally in front of a camera is so underrated. Like, it's impossible, bro.
No, I understand. I understand. I feel like it's more, because I think everyone has the ability to naturally speak. But I think it's you accepting that those on the other side of the screen will accept you.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, I wouldn't say I'm naturally good at speaking in front of the camera, but I've realized that it's my authenticity that draw people to me.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're always accepted to a particular crowd. Not everyone's supposed to understand you. Not everyone's supposed to agree with you. I don't believe in that because how can you be authentic and everyone be like, and everyone enjoy you, if that makes sense? Or like, because then you're almost masking to somebody. You're trying to be approved by everybody. It's not realistic. But you, by being authentic, because you always have a tone of voice to somebody. So I might not attract people that are from Central London per se, but guys that I know that are from the ends, or they'll all attract to me, and maybe that's what my audience is. Do you know what I mean? And then over time becomes a thing where everyone tries to, because you've built such a community, they draw to you, you know, because they know you're being you. Everyone's trying to fake it. Like, and you can smell it now, like, you're just going script by script. Like, even now, if someone posts on LinkedIn, I know you put this on ChatGPT. I know this post is ChatGPT. I can tell. I know that it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But be authentic, because I know authentic is the long game, but the long game is always the most sustainable game.
100%. Because Like me, I've started last week I released I did a solo episode with Harry. Shout out. 45 minutes. 45 minutes talking to the camera.
Yeah.
Or it was like an hour and we trimmed it down. And it's like the first 15 minutes I'm stiff.
Yeah,
like,
not heavy.
I'm like sitting up, but then you like relax into it, and you're just like. But it's like like sometimes when I'm like even doing content, it's like almost like I'm trying too hard.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I'm not talking too slowly.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I'm looking directly at the camera.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not doing all this, that, and the other. But yeah, your point is like you just need to do it for your audience. Understand that not everybody's gonna like it, but your audience. I think that's what I'm gonna take.
No, agreed.
It's such a good takeaway.
No, it's true, but I feel like also I'll give you that, because doing it alone is, oh my gosh, like that one day you need a script, because you're just looking at the camera like, okay, cool. So guys, what do we speak about? Literally, I think even when I'm on like live and stuff, TikTok, or Instagram live, I'm like, guys, ask me a question, please. I need interaction. I buzz off having a conversation with somebody. Do you know what I mean? Where sometimes if it's just individual, then maybe I might need a script but then over time, like I think it's good though, because you'll track your progress as well. So I think it's always good to actually post your drafts or your scraps, because over time you can identify, okay, cool. What did I do? What did people draw to about this? And then you just see, like, I love my 2019 or 2020 content better than I do now. I enjoy it more because I've made it this far. Like, if it wasn't for that person, if it wasn't for that stutter, if it wasn't for that mistake or that rubbish edit, I wouldn't have seen my progress. And I think progress is art. I love it. Yeah, I love it.
I think one of the things I've learned from doing this podcast as well is that progress is actually where you get the dopamine.
Yes.
It's like if I just released episode 1 and it banged, like you wouldn't have like understood everything that goes into it.
That's a conversation in itself.
Yeah, like
I don't want to be a lottery winner. I've seen it.
No.
And I think at first when I was young, I went to a good school, and I've seen a lot of people that were spoon-fed at young. And for me, it wasn't like that. And I used to envy them, because I'm like, okay, cool. Even lunch money they have, everything that they have. You have lunch money, you have breakfast money, you have after school money, you have money on Saturday. I'm thinking, my gosh, I'm just meant to sustain for lunch alone. Like, how much do you have? Yeah. But I realized that now I look back and people have grown up, those that are spoon-fed wait for others to do things for them. But I've always had to go get for myself. And so that's why sometimes it's like we speak about these things about just showing up I've had to always show up.
Yeah.
But it's benefited me in the long run. Do you know what I'm saying? So even with that, like, let's say if I just went viral, I wouldn't be ready to sustain the journey, the rest of it.
100%.
Because it's almost like, I definitely believe that lottery winners are more, the percentage of them actually becoming bankrupt or losing out or mismanaging money is more likely than those the gradual, because you have to learn to sustain that.
Yeah.
If you became viral and all of a sudden you got 100K, are you ready to maintain 100K viewers if you don't know how to consistently post?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying? You'll try to always wait for that viral moment. Forget that, man. Please.
I hear you. So going back to our story, so
Yeah.
you know, we mentioned like what you did in the build up to Cannes.
Yeah.
When you actually get there, obviously they give you the ticket. What is it you do when you're there? How is it you maximize the opportunity? And then, you know, you mentioned the fact that straight off the back of Cannes, you end up working with Adidas.
Right.
So yeah, talk us through, you know, to anybody who's looking to find that opportunity, how you can maximize the networking and make those opportunities happen.
Yeah, so I can definitely say that sometimes you have to go for the first time. So I definitely believe that the second time I go, by the grace, if I go this year, that will be a lot better because I'll know how the system works. I think you have to kind of go there and just kind of see how everything works, because you try to be at every event, talk and stuff, and it can be daunting as well. Like, because there's a lot of gems being piled on you, but also at the same time, it's like, my gosh, like, I think, as much as I talk about networking is not easy for me as well. Like, it's not easy for anybody, but it's more like just kind of being in the room and taking from it, you know, having your long days and stuff, and then you're just listening, and it's a lot. But I think, for me, maximizing is about having as much conversations as you can, applying yourself, but also at the same time knowing yourself. So you don't have to be at every event or every talk, but take something from, don't leave empty-handed, if that makes sense. There's also timetables that you can go by, whatever makes sense for you. But also at the same time, it's not always those, I always say, it's not always those on the stage that I need to speak to. Sometimes actually be the person right next to you. Have a genuine conversation, why they're here, what got them here, and you kind of just build these connections, keep in touch as well. I think there's one thing being there, but carrying it into next year. So I'm very much, like, I just did a recent ERA talk for Cannes about their program next year, which I did just in December. But it's about keeping in contact, though, building relationships. Because if you just leave it there, then I feel like Cannes is a waste. Yeah. If you just leave Cannes for where it is, but if you maintain these relationships, because you go to Cannes to build connections so you can actually work together later on. But if you just leave it, then it doesn't really work out itself. So I guess there's the implement of being there, being present, going to these events, listen to guys that you've obviously been inspired to be and grow to be and work with, but also that element of like coming back to the UK and taking all that fuel, all the connections, actually use it for the rest of the year, if that makes sense.
It does. And then in terms of like the actual opportunities that came about as a result of it. So, you know, we started off by saying, you know, you've done some brand partnership stuff, you've done stuff with Adidas. Yeah. Like, what is the actual work that you have started to do off the back of all this networking?
Yeah, so I've been able to now strategize and obviously execute some activations for brands. So even if so, let's say, for example, because a lot of the executives or the strategists or the top dogs that do the developments at these brands are there. So you have like direct communication, you can chat to them and ask them where they need help or what solutions they need. And through that, you can actually get yourself a gig per se, or an opportunity to work for them. Obviously showing your portfolio and stuff, and then you kind of meet up, see something's going on. So even having connections in Paris allowed me to go to Paris and then sort things out with Adidas and kind of putting my 2 pence, or even giving strategy, how would this be more effective? How does activation work? How can we get the crowd together globally? Obviously worked out itself. But again, I feel like that depends on the person as well. Like, you have to be able to be bold and have conversations. If you are there to just enjoy, then enjoy. Do you know what I mean? If it's a holiday, it's a holiday. But if you want to leave with business opportunities, you really got to be able to do the business. And business is just an exchange of problem and solution. But to connect to, you have to have a conversation. So if there's no conversation that is kind of, if you're not ready to open your mouth, then you won't get fed.
And so you've been creating content for a while, because you mentioned that you had content in 2019, 2020. How many years have you been doing content for?
I say content, so like 2018, 2018.
6-7 years.
Yeah.
And like why did you start?
I started, it's funny, because I kind of started because I didn't feel that people that were in my proximity took heed to me. And I thought, okay, cool, let me just try and see if the outside world actually took heed to me. And they did. sometimes all that are closest to you can't really, because they've grown up with you and they're familiar with you, they don't really see how far you see, which is very natural. But I started to do like it's kind of started like Instagram lives, just talking, just sharing my opinion about life in general. And then I realized that people actually taking heed to me. They might not have been the ones closest to me. I just said no, like they're actually taking heed to me, and I started to share my opinion. I just started talking about anything and everything about life, and ever since then it was like I just started to. I don't think back then it was even called content. Do you know what I mean? It was actually just you're using your Instagram or you're just you look nice, take a picture. Do you get what I'm saying? But one thing I also say is the people that I aspire to be were also on Instagram, sharing their opinions. So I kind of wanted to emulate what they were doing and kind of taking steps from them. Okay, they're really active, and over time it just became very natural just to have conversations. People actually, a lot of people actually want to have conversations. They're just waiting for someone to host it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's like, I've been Instagram live and we're talking about pressures of being young, at 19 to have a car or to have things figured out. Everyone's thinking it. Someone just needs to facilitate the conversation. And then it's like, okay, cool. Because I see you in me, but also because I feel comfortable in you, around you, let's have a conversation. Over time, it just built up and became what it is today. So I think even the community that, we talk about they've seen me rise as well. So as much as I wanted it, they wanted it for me as well. And I think that's one thing I love about my community. Like, they're really with me, like, and they really want me to do well. And I want them to do so well as well. Like, do you know what I mean? I chat to them like they're my brothers and sisters. Like, stop doing this, stop doing that. If I have like a realization to life, share it, let them know, because I feel comfortable with them, innit? So. And
like, obviously you've been posting for a prolonged period of time. In terms of like frequency, like, is it every day? Is it a couple of times a week? Is it just as and when the topics come to your mind? Like, how is it you plan out the content?
It's crazy because I feel like it's not only been to like a year ago or 2 years ago where I said I actually started to put this into plan. I can't say I've been consistent. I'd be lying to you if I said I'd be consistent. I can also say I feel like I've been slept on as well. Seeing how long I've been doing it and seeing guys that sometimes they come on TikTok
just
and have like 5 months, they're gone. Yeah. I'm thinking, what am I not doing? Do you know what I mean? What is it they're doing that I don't have? Yeah. So I think there's an element of me being stuck, and I still say that, and I'm a whole man, don't say that. But can I say I've been consistent? No, I can't say that. So this year, it being said again, first time, I've decided that this year I'm actually gonna hire a team.
Oh wow!
So I've hired a team.
What, to like produce content
to help me keep me accountable and edit? Yeah.
Oh my god!
Because I feel like my destiny cannot be dependent on my emotions. Yeah. It just like, I can be asked to post today, or I have the energy, the motivation. It's just nonsense. Like, even me, I need to get myself out of it. As long as it will take, cool, no problem. But I'm happy because I feel that's a pros and cons. Of course, I'd like to be higher in numbers, but at the end of the day, it's like, if this is where I'm at right now, there's no time of complaining. My people are with me and we're taking the journey. Like, my engagement, I always say this, my engagement is, if I show you, I'm going to show you. But it's like, my profile visits are like 50k. No ads, no nothing. But because of how, like, I might not have the numbers, but my engagement, you'd think I have numbers. Does that make sense? Like, my engagements are like someone that actually has like 40k followers or stuff like that. Like, my engagement is really that. So, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. And also, I think that we're actually moving into a society where it's engagement over views.
Agreed.
Because
100%.
Views, they can be bought. Like, I've been speaking to people recently, like LinkedIn, the people with like 100,000 followers, but they get 5 likes on a post.
It's nonsense.
It's like the time of like vanity metrics is coming to an end.
Agreed.
And I think there's like a new set of defined metrics that are going to be coming in. Engagement is one. So in that game, you're doing well, my brother.
Yeah.
So like, you're good. You're good.
Literally. I think that's when you really like. I think that's the difference though. Like, when you see audience, that will be audience. This is not my audience. This is community. These are my people. Like. And it's crazy, like, one person will come on live and I know what they're doing. It's mad to say, like, let someone come in the room, Harry, how's the editing going? Like, or like, do you know what I mean? Because you're checking in on people, like, it's very natural. Like, it's not, I don't see these guys as audience. They're actually my people. Like, what do you need? How can we help each other? And then from there, but also I was saying this, I think I made a TikTok on it, which is due to come out as well. I said, brands need us more than we need them now. If we're looking at these run clubs, these community brands are struggling to build communities
Mm-hmm.
because, like you said, that whole numbers, it's about engagement. How many people can you actually bring in the room? And everyone wants that intimacy again, that connection. So you see these run clubs, like every brand running brand wants to collaborate with them because they have the community and they are struggling to connect that with the people in it. So I agree.
And you know, you mentioned there like connecting brands with community.
Yeah.
When you're doing that, are you is it through your community? Are you connecting your community with the brand, or are you working with talent and like working with a brief to like shoot specific bits of content for a brand? Like, how is it you're working specifically with them?
So I guess it depends. So for me personally, one of my prayers all the same time is that the Lord makes me a point of contact. So when I say that, as in, I always pray that, Lord, any door you open for me, I connect that door, that room can never just be for me then. I have to bring people with me, if that makes sense. So any door you open for me, I'll open for others, if that makes sense. So which kind of goes into now how we're trying to do Mission, Guerin, Ali, and Who, which is bring as much people as we can to Cannes Lions next year.
Oh, swear.
That's what we're doing, yeah.
Next year or this year?
This year.
Because we're in 2025.
Yeah, this year, yeah.
Wow. So how many people can you bring?
Well, we're going to find out next week.
Hey,
Literally.
how many are you pushing for? Speak it into existence.
You know what? I actually prayed on this. I said, how many tickets should I hire? I mean, should I try and get? The Lord just said, how many? As much as you can, and then just see whatever.
And then just add one for me. You get me?
I mean, to be fair, let's talk about it for sure. 100%. We're trying.
No, that's sick. So, like, what is, to the listener who's potentially been following you, and maybe they are going to want an opportunity to join you in Cannes. What is it that they're going to be able to do to potentially put themselves forward? Is there anything they can do?
That's the applications close on 16th
of Jan.
Yeah. So that's yesterday, isn't it?
Yeah, bro.
Yesterday. No, but we actually did that's what I'm saying. We did the webinar for it.
Okay.
However, we will see, because I will speak to them and see what happens. I'm hoping I get a few. But yeah, I feel
that's sick though.
Yeah,
no, you're going to be able to take people.
That's really what it was about though.
And is it young people? Does it matter your age? Is it
no,
just
I feel like it's people that have really been around, have kind of helped us, but also at the same time, who I feel like is really doing it and deserves the opportunity.
I get that.
So yeah, no, we're really trying. But no, please.
Bro, I spoke to you. You've told me your story. I know what to do. You're just gonna see me at the airport. I'm just gonna. Hey!
Sometimes you just have to show up, man.
Sometimes you just gotta show up.
But to go back to what you're saying about the brands and stuff and how I strategize, so I guess it depends. So, like my connections, let's say I had connections with Sky. If my community, what I will try to do is I try to host an event with Sky to bring in the young talent, which I've actually done. So a few of our graduates have actually got jobs. So one's got a job at Havas, one's got a job at Wavemaker, which are big industries, and someone that I was actually working with has also got a job at Google. It's like an influencer market, which is good. And like I said, any door I open, no connection should just be for me. I'm a big believer that I can't lie. Reaping success alone is boring. I don't know what anyone believes. I don't enjoy it at all.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think life is for purpose, and anything that you live for life, I believe that you yourself should see yourself as an advocate for those coming past or coming to the next generation coming. But if it was like for brands, it'd be like whether it was talent or for brands, it's more like connecting to the audience that are very authentic and are here to that are long sustaining. So if there is a campaign that I'm planning on right now, which if it does go through, which is in the London Marathon, then I think I'll be able to show you. But as of now, everything's NDA. So.
Okay. Hey, I see it. I hear it. A few things that like I want to like dive deeper into.
Please.
One is like I've seen like on your socials as well. You've spoken about the fact that you can have one skill and it opens many doors.
Agreed.
And I think the skill is obviously the fact that you can speak, and then it leads to partnerships, it leads to public speaking, it leads to pitching.
Exactly.
Like, how is it you went about identifying the skill that you were good at?
I still don't know what my best skill is though. I'm just on the journey. Literally, I think I'm enjoying every single day of the journey. If I realize that maybe my speaking is not my biggest or my best strength, okay, no problem. I still have that though. I think sometimes we are waiting a bit too long for validation from somebody to say, okay, this is your best. But then how do you identify? Because you're just looking for validation. If that makes sense. Like you're waiting for someone to tell you, so you navigating yourself, but no one knows you better than yourself. and having the confidence to fail though. Like, nothing is supposed to come. You're not meant to be the finished product tomorrow. I don't believe in that. Like, even if it's in my speaking, then I still need to focus because I'm struggling to just look at this camera straight.
No, you're good, very nice.
I'm literally, I prefer this more than this. I'm literally struggling.
Yeah.
But that's something I need to work on then. So I need to focus on just staring at this camera. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we're talking about live though. And I've accepted that. People don't like to fail. People just want to know the final and what they're good at tomorrow. It's not realistic. It doesn't work like that because if you don't realize that, if you are waiting to get to the finished product, you won't be good unless you know you're good at it already. I don't know if that makes sense.
I was a bit confused.
Yeah, no, even me. I tried to make. That's why I had to ask if it made sense because it didn't make sense to me. So basically, what I'm saying is, how can I say? If there wasn't something I knew I was already good at, you wouldn't try something new.
Yeah.
You have to have that openness and ability to be like, okay, cool. Like, I want to get good at this. How do I get good at this? So the speaking was something I just picked up my camera, started to speak to people on live, and started to just be a voice. Then I realized when I started to be a voice that for me to be a voice, I need to be able to articulate myself. Because can I also say something? I can be able to speak to you, but but I need to learn how to be good to speak to a stakeholder. Mm-hmm. I need to be able to be in every room I'm in. I need to learn how to speak. Yeah. It's not just I know how to speak today and now I'm good at speaking. It doesn't make sense. Can you speak to the person in front of you? So, and that comes from learning the room. So in the midst of networking, I always spent my time with a lot of entrepreneurs and just CEOs speaking about all of this stuff. And I always just learned their language. If I'm speaking to a brand tomorrow and I don't know their problem, what's the point of me speaking to them? So when I go to these events, I'm listening, what solution can I give to them? Yeah. So when I speak to them in a 30-second minute pitch that I have with them or conversation, I can help you with this. But why? Because I've already listened to what they were saying. So I guess it's about giving yourself time and giving yourself grace. I understand that social media is the era of finished products. I understand that. But done are the days.
Yeah, I hear that.
Done are the days. Like, everyone likes the journey now. It's so funny because when we go and listen to panel talks, the most successful people are on the stage, but no one asks them about their success. Everyone's asking them about the hardest tribulation. Does that make sense? People are actually, like, you'll go on a panel and then open Q&A to the public. Well, and the question's always like, when was the time that you struggled the most? Because everyone wants that relatability. Because I can't relate to your success. I can only relate to the time that you were struggling. Yeah. So I'm saying this because your success validates you on the stage, but it's your struggle that people want to hear about. Yeah. But if you don't connect that dot, then you're always going to be an unfinished product, or you won't know.
That's what I need to do better as well, because I sorry to bring it back to this podcast. Like, I've been doing this podcast now for 18 months.
Okay, nice.
And the numbers aren't where some people would deem it successful. Yeah. But I know that I've come a long way.
Agreed.
And I've been asked to do talks.
Yeah. And
I know that it will go there.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe I need to share more of the journey, because I think people just think, I think it got to a stage last year where I released so much, people were like, oh no, he's serious. Like, something just happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And now weekly, daily, I got people reaching out to me.
Yeah.
And a year ago, it wouldn't have happened. But if you don't put in the year,
no,
it would never happen. So you just have to do. Yeah.
But even with what you're saying, I love what you're saying, because let's say, for example, if it went the way you wanted it to go and you became viral overnight, would you have been ready for this everyday request? Mm-mm. Do you get what I'm saying? So I listened to somebody say it, and I'm going to say his name, shout out to Kwam, because he spoke about it the other day. It's that gradual and all of a sudden becomes sudden. It's like you become an overnight success, but you're not an overnight success. That's a lie. Yeah. Because you actually built the necessity skills to long last these things, and it's giving you that willpower to sustain it. Because it's not about achieving. I always say, don't judge me what I achieve, but judge me if I can sustain this thing. Mm-hmm. Because that goes to show that I'm actually here for the long run. Yeah. You know, I don't want to get to the top, get to level 3 and all of a sudden have to get back down. That's nonsense. Yeah. So, no.
And then with all the speaking that you've done, right?
Yeah.
It sounds like it wasn't a skill to start, but you decided, I want to be good at speaking. Right. So I'm going to do it. Yeah. I'm going to practice it until a point where I deem myself to be good, because I don't need validation from others. Yeah. And then as a result of that, I believe like you became the youngest speaker at the Houses of Parliament.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
like, just mad.
Yeah,
like,
no,
we've just heard it. We take it from the bedroom, we take it
Right.
from the live
Wow.
to the Houses of Parliament.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
talk to me about like that situation, and like what was the speech you delivered in Parliament?
So the speech I delivered was basically just to speak about the gap of employment between young black men and the corporate space, and the struggles that we face, not only just before but also in retention as well. And I say this because if you look at my landscape or you see my CV on paper, I'm not qualified, no degree, only by the grace that God qualifies those that are at least qualified. But how can I say? I gave the speech, and I say this again because I think it's so important. The ability to speak, but also raise your hand. Can I say something? Really, I'm naturally someone that's overlooked because I don't look like your typical. Like I said, I didn't go uni. I'm everything that conventional isn't. I'm very unconventional. I'm very I didn't do things the way I was supposed to. The way society told me, I didn't do it. And that disability from just doing this, I promise you, just raising your hand and speaking, gave me the ability just to, ever since then, like I do gently advocating. Then by the grace of God, I spoke at the House of Parliament. And that in itself was like I don't know. When people even say it to me, it's like, I don't know how to receive that because I've never been someone that people just look at and be like, you will do it. So we speak about the self-belief, but if I didn't believe myself, who is? Because people didn't do that to me, you know? People speak about my passion, but I believe that passion is also emotion. Emotion from anger, that stem from anger. But where's the anger come from? The anger come from because I've always had to prove myself. If I didn't raise my hand, if someone didn't speak, then who's going to speak? So there's beauty in everything. I'm sorry for going on the left, but even that ability to speak on the House of Parliament and speak to these generals and speak to these execs, these high regarded people that actually have change in power, goes to show how far my voice can go. And I should never allow myself to be muted regardless whether or not you believe in me or not. Because it actually caused change. I think we had a event at Ernest Young, and we had like 50, 60 young black people come in. And John Reid I actually invited John Reid to come.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he was there as well. And yeah, no, it was amazing. Like, wow.
Bro, it's not just you. I think to anybody who feels muted in life,
Yeah.
like, this is why we do this podcast, right?
Agreed.
If Guerin can do it, why not you?
Agreed.
Like, listen to everything he said today, right? It's within you.
Yeah.
Like, if you believe you can do it, who can tell you no?
Yeah.
So if there's one thing to take from this conversation, like, just get going. Because the closed mouth doesn't get fed.
It
like,
doesn't.
I actually use that term, so it's funny.
Yeah,
that you say
100%.
that, you know.
But it doesn't get fed. It doesn't.
Yeah. Where did I want to go next? So, speaking to you off camera, right? You know, we've spoken about how you've delivered these speeches in Parliament.
Yeah.
You know, you're working with these brands. It's one thing putting your hand up and getting in the room.
Yeah.
It's another thing
Yes.
staying in the room.
Agreed.
So, to the listener who, okay, they put their hand up, they get that first networking opportunity, how is it they can sustain success? How is it they can keep putting their hand up? How is it they can remain in these rooms?
I think it's hard because we're almost working so hard to be in a room that doesn't reflect us. And that one I can't I can't teach you, but when I say that, I mean, it's like, because I'll take it back to my first corporate role. And I myself, I got along with every team but my own team, which is very funny. But the team that I was with didn't reflect me. They tried their best to an extent. I can't say they didn't. But it's hard because we're trying to build a culture that we have into a culture that we don't know. So you're trying to survive in a culture you don't understand, whether it's the middle-aged white woman, forgive me. Do you know what I mean? But it's true. Just for context and understanding. And you're trying to make jokes, or you're trying to be funny, or the work culture is also British culture. So you have to go to the pub, but you don't like going to the pub, and you have to be you have to now, you know, kind of gauge the way you are in life so you can suit them, but they don't really want to suit you. And it's so much of a losing yourself that you're pouring into them, but it's not coming back. And it's almost like you keep reaching just to sustain yourself and to be deemed as social in the environment. It's a lot. And I envy, and I say envy, I have remorse. Sorry, forgive me. I have remorse for people that are probably struggling and they're trying to do their best, trying to remain themselves in a corporate space. And I think that's why even us as advocates, we need to do more and say more. But I also believe it goes deeper because I thought we have to build our own as well. Because we can't change what they've set up and the culture that they have. We can, but that comes with time as well. If I'm speaking to the person that just started and they're trying, I guess it's just remembering the end goal and why you're there. But also at the same time, someone is going to come after you that needs you. So I also say sometimes take yourself out of the situation. Remember that you need to be that point of contact in the room, that for the next person that looks like you, that feels lost like you, or feels like they've lost their identity in a room of work, but they like their role, they need you. They need you to put your arm around. I know you don't have someone that's putting the arm around you, but remember that maybe you were the beginning of something to come. Maybe you were the beginning of change. So I completely understand that one. We really do try. Because again, like I said, you want to sell this corporate life to people. You want to give these young black men or young black women the opportunity. But how do you glamorize it? Because no one reflects them. How do you glamorize something that doesn't look like them and entice into them? And it seems so far reached because they don't feel qualified. And as soon as they get there, it's like there's every reminder of why they're not qualified. So I think it's a big thing.
The community needs to help each other.
Then we only have each other.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I've had conversations with a lot of people that want to listen and they really want to take heed. But this is something that's deeper than what meets the eye. So shout out to all the activists and guys that are doing well, you know, all different type of cultures, the Asians, the whites in general, because the people that want to help. We're not gonna do that here. We're not gonna say that they do want to help. You just gotta find people that are trying to help. But also at the same time, if we can't help each other, we're not going anywhere. And sorry to get political, but I think I've seen it sometimes, like those that have the power, let's say we're at the bottom of the power. We're too focused on what we're doing instead of joining hands and going up. Does that make sense? Like we're too concerned about we're not doing this, no, let's actually get together and work to fight or like to raise a voice. Because two voices is always better than one. But we're arguing instead of actually joining. That's what I'm basically saying.
Yeah, I hear that. Wow, I need to just take
that.
a moment.
No, that's where the parliamentary side of me came out still, because that one is argument.
No, I love it. Like, what would you say? Two questions. Like, what would you say your mission is at the moment?
At the moment, it's to be a voice of the voiceless. I think that's what my purpose is. Purpose, but I would say my mission over, like, I can only say it in a way that makes sense. Like, I want to be, it's bad to say, but I'll say it to you first, I'll say it to the people. Like, I want to be the next Elon Musk.
Hey, okay.
Can I say that with some context, please?
Yeah.
Influence, and it kind of makes sense because I don't have a fixated industry. But I've realised influence is media channels. But this, I don't know, maybe we might cut this one, but we'll save this one for a few years later. But influence is media channels.
Yeah.
There's a propaganda against everyone, but we're not in control of it. But you need to understand how these people talk. You need to understand how these decision makers talk. So I guess for me right now is to get in the decision rooms and make decisions, speak and be around execs. But also at the same time, then there has to be funding with it as well. So speaking to venture capitalists, but there's a bigger game than where I'm at right now.
I like that.
There's a long race. It's a long race.
And like, yeah, as you kind of like you say, you got your hands in many different pots. To somebody who's listening to this and, you know, they're also in a similar position, like, how is it you're planning out, like, your client base for this year? Like, do you already have them lined up? Is it something that you're strategizing on at the moment? Like, what would your advice be? Yeah,
so for this year, I definitely have, like, so I've already got up to August in terms of clientele work with brand partnerships figured out.
Sick.
But I also don't like to be fixated on what I've planned out, because I think last year, where I started off with no role and then happened can wasn't planned, I was like the year to do what it needs to do as well. I like the opportunities to come. Like you said, you got opportunities coming, so you don't know where this can go. So I always have an open mind. But it's always about structuring and also being very intentional with your time. There's a lot of people that want to have conversations. It's not every conversation I can give myself to anymore. I need to focus, and I can't spread myself in, which is something I do, and you can tell. Well, like I said, you have different pots and stuff, but I feel like I had to taste different things to know what I wanted to do. But now I'm being more intentional. More intentional with my time, and with that comes sacrifices. So sacrifices will have to come. I have to sacrifice more. I say this to one of my friends: if you didn't see me last year, there's no way you'll see me this year. I'm telling you. No, I'm telling you. There's no way you'll see me this, because this one's just looking busier.
Yeah.
So if you're not in the rooms I'm in, if you're not at service, I don't know when you're gonna see me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess it's more just to be like, because I guess you choose when you want it to be your year, and when you put your foot down and stop compromising and you're intentional, then things will happen.
I love it. As we begin to round out, like, for anybody who wants to get started in creative, right? They bit scared to take the first step, or they're still a bit unsure as to the first step they should take. Like, what would your advice be to them?
I was going to vote that quickly. Do you want me to be polite or?
No. Be real.
Okay, let me be
authentic.
I'm going to give 2 answers to this. If you're struggling and you're shy, then stay where you are. Oof. No, but do you know what I mean? Like, if you're like, stay where you are. Like, if you're okay with where you are, stay where you are. No one's complaining. Like, sometimes they'll say to me, I get questions like, Guerin, okay, but I don't know. Okay, then, but you don't want to do it. So then what can I do for you? Not like that, but as in, where you are can't be that bad. Because sometimes people are looking for the complex answers. Okay, do this and do that. No, this is what you want to hear. I've told you what you need to do. You don't want to hear that. So let me tell you what you want to hear. Stay where you are, no problem. And then you'll tell me in a year's time that this year didn't go the way you wanted to. But again, to be very nice and polite also, I guess it's more, I always say that spend time or find the rooms where people that look like your finish line are. They are always talking or at events. It's my biggest thing, is what I started off doing. Because I used to watch a lot of, like, I don't know if you know, it's American, Earn Your Leisure.
No.
But they're like very much just wealth. They just look wealth, or even urban finance that I see in the UK.
Think I've seen them.
Yeah. Obviously, these guys, they even do finance, and I'm not even, but I think it's the wealth that they've accumulated. But it's also just hearing them and taking heed to them. So if there's people that, even here in the UK, start small and go to the rooms, and you know what? You probably might go alone, or you probably might not have friends that want to go with you. But I always say that you'll always find people where you're going.
You find your posse.
You find your people.
Yeah.
If I want to play ball and I'm only going alone, I'll go to goals and I'll find people that want to play ball. If I want to go to the gym and I have no one to go to, I'll meet people at the gym.
Facts.
If I'm hungry, I'll meet people at the restaurant. Do you know what I mean? I need a drink, I'll meet people at the bar. So I understand that it's almost like, because your life is bigger than where you're coming from. But it will not be bigger if you stay where you are. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if in a way you're struggling to find a new community, go where you want to go and you'll meet people there. But stay there as well. Like, don't expect the first time to have come out with all these friends. No, take time. Like, you've never gone to university the first day. You've never gone to school the first day and made your first friend. It's not realistic. So take time, the same way you see your academic year. Take your time and then grow into it, for sure.
No, I love that. And like, just to add to like what you said there, I think sometimes people are afraid of change.
Yeah.
And
agreed.
I think, like, to the listener, you just have to be open-minded to change. And to Guerin's point, like, if you want a new outcome, you have to take a new action.
Agreed.
Like, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different action.
Yeah.
I don't want to be calling anyone insane.
No.
Like, I don't want to call people insane.
Fully.
You have to take new actions, and I've heard a lot about like proximity.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be around those people that you want to be like.
Yeah.
And there's another guy. There's a guy called Sterling who I had on. He said it's caught, not taught. Right.
Yeah, okay.
So when you're in the proximity, you just catch.
Agreed. I like that. I like that a lot.
Everything.
I like that a lot.
From the people who are where you want to be. So
I like that a lot.
Put yourself in these new rooms, man. You just have to do that.
No, because how many times can you have the same 2023, 2000? Some people, they're in a new year, but they're doing the same year. Does that make sense? You're in the it's a new year, like numerically, but you're in the same year.
Yeah.
You're doing the same year because you're acting the same thing. And it's almost like you get this, it's just like a repeated thing. So I'm saying that, how can I say, sometimes change, because I know time, but I want to say it correctly. Sometimes change, you will know people, you will know you are changing when everyone's approach to you is different. So I say that because sometimes, or even the language you're speaking, like nothing's the same. The conversations you're having are not the same. Your attitude to go to the gym is not the same. Or you're hanging around different people. But it's natural because you only know what you know. Until you expose yourself to something new, you will never know what you can get to know.
100%.
If that makes sense.
100%.
So don't limit to what you know today.
Yeah.
You're not learning.
I love it. Guerin, bro, like, you kind of let the hat out of the bag saying you want to become the next Elon Musk.
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
My question is,
We can cut that.
no, it's bless. No. But where do you see yourself in the next 5 or 10 years?
5, 10.
Or maybe 5?
I've never thought about it. I don't really think that far, if I'm being honest.
That's fine. Think now.
International stage. Back home as well. Not living back home, but I've done something back home. I'm from Congo, I'm Congolese. So having some impact back home. An evangelist.
Love that.
Preach the gospel. Wherever God sends me. But yeah, I think actually having influence, changing people's lives, and an investor as well. Like, I want equity in businesses. I really do. I want ownership. It's what I'm looking for. So to really break it down, ownership, whether it's land, whether it's businesses, international. So big, I would have spoken or just elsewhere doing business in different countries or different continents, but also an evangelist preaching the gospel somewhere. I don't know where God sends me, literally. Maybe family as well. I don't know.
Bro, come on.
Maybe with a wife and a kid. I don't know that.
Come on.
I didn't even think about that though. Do you know what I mean? Literally. So
this is why. Look.
You're
starting it now. We do have a closing. Well, we do have a quick fire round.
Please.
Are you ready? Yeah.
Bring it. Let's go, please.
Money or happiness?
Happiness. Literally. Nah, happiness still, bro. I'll be honest. Like, okay. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
I don't even do I give like money hungry guy though? I don't.
No. But you don't. You actually don't.
No.
Would you rather work on multiple small projects or one large project for a major brand?
One major.
Okay. Complete creative freedom or strict client instructions?
Freedom.
Highly profitable projects or socially impactful ones?
Oh my gosh. See, this is my problem. Because I'm actually socially, socially impactful.
Yeah, socially impactful, yeah.
If I know me, I'd definitely say socially impactful. But this is my problem though, because
we need to pay the bills as well.
I'm too much for the people that sometimes it can affect my problem. I'm literally, oh my gosh. But yeah, socially impactful.
Do you know what? I think the way you are, can I just say, I know this is quick fire, but the way you are, the money will come. Yeah. Sometimes if you just have like the right heart for it, and you do the right thing, the money will come anyway.
Bro, I'm telling you, some of us we're hungry.
Would you rather be internet famous for your work or an A-list celebrity in the marketing world?
What was the first one again? So influencing.
Internet famous for your work or an A-list celebrity in the marketing world?
Internet famous. I don't really care for being A-list celebrity. Really
love that. Dream client,
brand or person or whatever.
Whichever, speak it into existence.
Dream. I was gonna say Manchester United, but it's not far fetched.
Hey, I like that. And then your dream dinner guest.
Wow. Oh. Past present. Go on.
Let's go 1-1.
Okay, cool.
Past,
so
one present.
Patrice Lumumba. Literally saw a documentary yesterday. Obviously, he's like Congo ex-president.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And he was basically, when we say that when people call obviously Congo the heart of Africa, like he really was and implemented that. Like he was very much the connection. I didn't even know how serious the connection between Malcolm X and he was. Like it was serious. So yeah, him now. Oh my gosh, Barack.
Okay.
Barack Obama. Yeah.
Barack Obama. Yeah.
Yeah.
Guerin, bro. This has been like such a sick conversation, bro. We do have a closing tradition on this podcast.
Please.
Like, with everything that you've been through and knowing what you know now, what advice would you give your younger self, and would you still be doing the same thing?
I wouldn't say advice, just a thank you.
Mm.
Thank you for pushing. Thank you for believing when people didn't believe. Thank you for sticking to your gut. Thank you for choosing God. And I pray that what I'm doing today is what you're proud of, because you've done so much in the midst of isolation, being doubted. I think I'm living it easy. I'm living it easier than you did. So thank you so much.
Sick, man. Where can people find you, bro?
Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok. So it's Guerin Lufa, Guerin_Lufa on Instagram, Guerin Lufanimi on LinkedIn, and then Guerin Lufa on TikTok. But there's a trend in it, Guerin Lufa.
I'm gonna put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
And guys, you know what to do if you've gotten to this point in the show. Make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to let us know how you find the episode, and yeah, let us know who you want to hear from next. We're gonna run this back. We're gonna see if this can thing is gonna become a yearly thing, and I'm gonna put it in. I'm gonna put it in the show. If they do this next year, and they give me the link, I'm gonna put it in the link, and we're gonna help.
100%.
We gonna help.
Yeah,
even if I'm not there, he's there. We want to take people, okay? But guys, for now, thank you as always. This has been another episode of What My Best Friend Does. If you didn't know, now you know. Now go outside, take some immediate action. Come on, let's go.